Hi, my name is Jae Oh, and I'm a faculty member in computer science program. And today I'm going to talk about a couple of research efforts that goes on in my research group. First, I want to introduce as an overview what I'm going to talk about today. And basically, I'm going to talk about two things, big data analysis and computations, and the visualizations effort going on in my research group. And also, secondly, I want to talk about massively multi-agent, multi-robot problems related to big data problem as well. And so some of my graduate students are working on recommender systems and the reputation management. And the application area of this is basically how do you actually predict users' behavior? And it would be useful for companies like Amazon or even Wegmans trying to make a recommendation for what people would like to buy or what would people do. And those particular analysis and computations have actually a variety of different kind of application areas, and which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. And also visualization is very important in terms of big data, and I'm going to talk about that as well. And so secondly, I'm going to talk about the multi-agent systems and the multi-robot platforms, especially in cyber-physical systems area. So the focus of big data in my research group is really studying the interactions and the relationship among the entities. So when you have a big data, basically you can identify actors that actually generate the behavior. And rather than choosing some statistical approach, our approach is really trying to study interactions among them. So game theory comes in, and we really want to study what these actors would do when you have a big data situation. So as you can see in the picture, basically you have a social network or network structure, and the people or entities are interacting with each other. And how do we actually predict the behavior of these entities for something useful? So for example, Homeland Security application would be one of the important application of this area, but the number of applications that you can use would be endless. Secondly, one of my students, and I have been working with a faculty member at VPA, Visual Performing Arts, and he's a computer artist. And we've been looking at the visualization of a big data. So why is it important? Because when you have some event like a natural disaster, and a lot of data comes in real time, and you don't really have a time to really to analyze the data and really looking at the data in terms of the numbers. So how do you visualize those data so that it will aid decision makers as policy makers to do a better job? Okay, so this is one of the ways to do visualizations, and one of my students is doing is how do we generalize visualization techniques for any kind of data. Lastly, we're actually looking at the building up robots, and how do we actually design robots that are thousands of them collaborating each other and accomplish certain tasks. So if you think about thousands of robots generating millions of data in real time, how do you analyze them, and how do you use those data items to design robots' behavior? So one takeaway from my presentation is really about how do we study interactions among millions and millions of entities. Thank you very much.